Ladies and gents, it's time to make his last stand. Welcome back to the channel for game number 3 of our semi-finals here in midweek muster number 14. Crazy to think we're almost halfway through. B with Jeanne D'Arc here on Frisian Marshes. Beastie, meanwhile, takes to the Middle East. Ayyubids coming out. Interesting pick, actually. Ayyubids hasn't historically been that popular in Frisian since its introduction. Occasionally it came out. Pro Scout's meta is going to be intriguing, though. It just got mentioned in chat. We have to remember on this map, there is a lot of deer, as well as sheep and fish. Interesting part is for a meta that has been defined almost entirely by Pro Scouts, we actually haven't seen that many Pro Scouts games. Like, percentile-wise, a lot of the play is still about sheep, fish, or trade. In fact, trade could be an option for Jeanne here. Remember, you do have the Chamber of Commerce build. In theory, a cool idea to force your opponent out into the map, because then Beastie has to come and contest your trade. He can't just camp at home and chill vibe for that castle timing. Not unless he wants you to get a lot of resources. Wonder what the opening is going to be. Dervish actually is kind of sickening against Jeanne now that I think about it. Like, you can't easily snipe them. They are very effective against knights, and Jeanne range can't immediately kill a Dervish. So there is a world in which Beastie could play Dervish with initial play into Desert Raider, and then Castle Age for Growth Wing. The alternative is, the other one we see a lot of right now is Growth. Desert Raider sometimes feels good, but boom, there we go. So Culture Wing coming in, tells you a lot about Beastie's intent. We could see him just going into a Stables beginning to pressure. The alternative is, like, you could actually just kind of use Dervishes to tank the initial Knight and be more greedy. He'll likely want to include an Outpost, but actually Beastie got a great spawn for that. It's not behind the TC, but it's up against the edge, so you can just Outpost this side, blocks any raid. In fact, it even stops Jeanne from sniping you. Speaking of Jeanne, we are going to get just a standard School of Cavalry build, so no play into Chamber of Commerce this game. Interesting. What do you guys think? Would you have preferred Chamber of Commerce here? I think overall, like, I can see the logic here is with Ayyubids, if you go Chamber of Commerce, it's probably going to scale you too slowly. Because, like, there's not much to stop Beastie from just rushing Castle if he sees that play. This at least gives pressure orientation for B, which is usually how Jeanne feels most confident playing. Also just means you're immediately scaling Knights, looking for that eventual timing into Castle with, like, you know, Royal Institute. And this is indeed best of 5. Yes, we've been upgrading quarterfinals now, BO5s as well. Do I upgrade semifinals as well at this rate is the real question. Just make semifinals BO7s, grand finals BO9s maybe. That's a lot of games. I do like a lot of games though. I believe the term that should be used is lots of content. I don't know if the players will be up for it. My worry is this week has been a little bit tricky. We've already seen some parts of the bracket hold back slightly. Because on the weekend it was kind of absurd. There was two different tournaments having qualifiers, right? So that kind of like bloated the weekend, which meant we didn't have as many people playing the round 32 as quickly, or like a round of 16 time. And like, you know, when I think of some of the players that just aren't full time, like Myriad has a job, Kiljadi has a job, I think Nimdan has a job. CSO is in a weird time zone. SAS, I believe, has a job. Like, when you don't have these players that are just like, for example, what B and BC do, where they just do this for a living, it makes it quite difficult to just get that orderly scheduling going. So first night's coming out. Perfect answer is the Desert Raider. This is where things get tricky. You're going to need Jeanne in range form, but even that might not be good enough. This is, I think, the rough thing about the logistics wing play right now for Ayyubids. I wonder if this ever gets changed to be like one Dervish comes out in age 2, and then you get a second one on age 3 from playing logistics age 2. The reason why that might be an interesting buffer point is like the difference between this play and the Imam point for Ottomans is the Imams need 2 of those healers because they need to heal each other. With Ayyubids, you don't actually need to heal each other. You can heal yourself. Like, these things are self-proficient. But also, because of the extra health, movement speed, the fact that they easily always heal on the go, and they have the debuff against cavalry, like, these things feel very hard to kill in Feudal. There's only one way to really kill them, and it's ranged units. Why don't you schedule to run the semis and finals on the weekend, and then there's no when there's no other tournaments for better viewership? Because viewership is like building viewership and building a community is all about consistency. And if you choose to occasionally run a weekend tournament and then not, you're not building consistency. You're contradicting that, right? That's the problem of that idea. Is if we like every 5th weekend do a grand finals on a weekend, but the rest isn't, people are going to turn up on the weekend and go, where's the tournament? So yeah, consistency matters a lot. The Desert Raider's coming in. This is a rough fight. You're never going to get him low enough. B, oh my. If he bails now, he loses Jeanne. He tries to the snipe. Micro Beastie peels it back, and now it is time to hunt the Huntress. This is painful. So you're seeing why Ayyubids can be a pain in the ass to French. Archers are on the way for B, but at this point, it's put you behind. Beastie is already getting ready. It's going to be a full castle up. Growthwing, the most likely choice here. I mean, you could... You know what? You're 2 games up. Beastie, is it finally time to unleash the Trade Wing Bazaar? I don't think that's really in the Beastie arsenal. Beastie himself will admit he's not that guy looking to innovate the builds. He's looking to take the new relations and perfect them. That's what he's best at. Healing yourself is just that strong. Look at Abby. Yeah, but Abby isn't mobile like this. Even the King's aura has its weakness of it not working while you're fighting. Right? This works. That's the wildness of Dervish. And this is the thing. Like, if B was against Ottomans with Imam there, he could have moved in on the Imams and killed them likely with 2 knights and Jeanne. Because Imams have 90 health compared to the 120. And they're slow. But these things are so quick. And on top of that, the debuff they provide. There's just so many layers to the cake. Beastie, there you go. Growthwing now on the way. He's even scaling additional Desert Raiders here. B, at this point, he's probably starting to wish he'd just gone for his classic docks on the ponds. Trade Wing X Jeanne? Yeah, come on, dude. Get some of those skirmishes out. Keep the series interesting. Hey. It's a good map for trade. Maybe produce a few traders. God, I really am that dark voice in people's head. You know, when it's like, hey, you know how like people get their superpowers in Doom Patrol by being on the verge of death? We should totally go swim with those crocodiles. Maybe we'll become a lizard man. And yes, Dervish are as fast as knights. Which is why it looks so bad when you watch them getting chased with a relic. That's another thing. Remember, when they hold a relic, their healing increases. And that means the healing on them as well. So B, Guildhall's going to be coming in. He doesn't see a win condition between 15 and 20 minutes. This is survival. The good news is Beastie's army's not going to be good at diving. It's just a handful of Desert Raiders. Bad news is he went stables, so the Lancer follow-up is almost guaranteed here. We might even see B just immediately go Arbitrier. This is the tough thing about the Ayyubid matchup. Like, camels just counter knights. So you get forced them to Arbitrier. Now, we've bragged Arbitrier a lot in the past. They are a very, very good unit. They're incredible in the late game. But people don't often like to rush them. Because when you reach Castle Age, there's a reason why most people play Knights instead. One Knight is going to be a lot more valuable than 3 Arbitrier, because you can do more with it. You can raid, you can flex, you can dodge. Arbitrier are very immovable. Interesting enough, B actually going to be adding in additional archers for the time being. Camel Lancer's now queued up. Beastie already pulling the relics home. B is trying to intercept, but this is tricky. Should be able to get this one Dervish over here. Right? Right? Oh, the body blocks. Like, come on! The movement speed on this thing! Are you actually kidding me? And the body blocks are there. He gets re-aggroed! Desert Raiders getting queued up on the upgrades. Archers are target firing down the Desert Raiders, but he peels it back beautifully. That long-range dunk, though. Rename her LeBron. Okay, maybe don't. It's a bit rough. Snipes aren't working, though. B, this is about as good of a fight as he ever could have begged for. Desert Raiders are going to get cleared up. Yeah, the crazy part is Beastie already had the relics home. So I was kind of surprised he just fully committed to the fight like that. Maybe he just wasn't expecting the Veteran Knights to carry that much through. It's a lot of XP, really important for Jeanne. But Beastie still has more Camelons on the way. I think from Beastie's POV, taking out some Knights while getting rid of the unit you don't want anymore, the Desert Raiders, is worth it. The maybe funky part about the fight was like, did he queue up Veterancy? I swear I saw Veterancy. That's sick then. So he actually cancelled it. That was a great reaction. He took the fight, realized they were going to have to die, and then cancelled the Desert Raider upgrade to save himself 350 resources. Now, B isn't out just yet, guys. Growth Wing is very powerful, but we have got shoreline fishing for only B. The Guildhall is slowly going to stockpile. And also, remember, Consecration is a thing. It does matter. The savings definitely add up. But we are seeing that arbitrary switch we talked about, so very early, right? Beastie, did he scout it? Yeah, he knows. The arbitrary revealed. So what Beastie could do is maybe think about Horseman. It might be tricky with a lack of food, though. Yeah, he's out of sheep. He has still got the berries over here, but not much. So for Beastie, he needs to focus on the Lancer play now. Clear this, and then we play on to fish, at which point Horseman is viable. In fact, Beastie might have to like consider Manganiques if he can't access that food. It might be a bit tricky considering the gold state. We do have the Dervishes sneaking out for more. B has yet to add in a monastery, however. So it's not like he's pulling relics away anytime soon. Honestly, B's position, I don't think it's as bad as you'd think. Beastie still definitely has a food issue. Like, going farms is pretty rough at this stage. He has definitely got an eco there. I'm not going to deny that. Like, the worker kills are adding up, etc. But Guildhall has pulled off bigger comebacks in the history of AV4 than this. I feel if there's an eco landmark I never write off, it's Guildhall. Another flash coming in here. Archer's already targeting the crossbows. Uh-oh. The Knights aren't holding on, though. I may have jinxed it. At the worst possible time. Spawns the champions, but champions won't win against this. So all of a sudden, just as Beastie is running out of food, look at what he accesses now. B has no standing army to hold him in. He's trying to rush arbitrary across the field, but slow-moving army, right? Beastie already reacting with his own crossbow count. Once he sees the arbitrary, with a lack of knights to back it, there is a world in which we just see him queue up a Manganique. Not just that, 2 more relics are now on the way home, folks. Unlikely we're going to see any cute wall lulls. It's just raw economy for Beastie, though. Outpost also now getting a Sprune emplacement. Love that from Beastie. Actively gathering the stone. We do have Jeanne looking for the snipes. A little bit better at actually doing it at this stage. With the 6-tower range, she doesn't get the debuff. And are you actually kidding me? Instead of a Manganique, it's going to be a Tower of the Sultan. You know what, guys? This thing isn't actually a meme anymore. Against mass range, this is ridiculously effective. I actually respect this. This is smart. So the reason why Beastie is going Tower Sultan instead of Manganique, a Manganique can get sniped by Jeanne. A Divine Arrow for 100 damage doesn't matter against an 800 HP siege weapon. And he forces him to commit underneath the Sprue Tower to stop the bigger tower. Wow. Absolute domination we're seeing out of Beastie. So, shoves him away. He can either cancel this or go back to it. Really, the world is his oyster. I mean, why wouldn't you complete this immaculate design, though, you know? Look at that thing. It's so big. And wow, wait, is that like a plus? Like a Knights Templar? It was secretly telling us the DLC all along. Horseman switch up by B is actually correct. Horseman is the answer to these things. It used to be these things were terrible because the spring were better. This is the funny thing. Like, everyone who wants Springles back the way they were, I mean, I didn't want them for multiple reasons, but something to consider is, like, if they had been reverted back to their form, you'd never see these things ever. The amount of games where Tower Assaults would just instant die to anti-siege was ridiculous. Now, to answer this, you actually have to get in with melee, which means these things can kite. And TC drop on the front line. Pavises are going to be deployed. So he's heavily minimizing the Tower Assault damage. The problem is going to be Horsemen coming out. And on top of that, these things aren't ultimately that tanky. No. Come on. An ambitious attempt by B. It feels like at this stage, he's kind of failed at this all-in too many times, right? It's like, I'd say third time now. We had the initial exchange against the double Desert Raider, the fight prior to this one, and then this one. I mean, maybe like 3 big commitments, I'd say. Guildhall has at least stopped piling up. I think B at this rate has 1 final play left, and it's going to look like a meme. Unless he wants to turn this into an eco game, which, judging by what B has done so far, he has no interest in. The play available to him, you know what I'm going to say, it's dirty. It would be a red palace drop in the base. Difficult to finesse this close to the enemy. And oh my god, are we playing Ayyubids or Abba? He's like, well, B took Abbassids in the draft, so I'm making do. I'm fine with BC doing this TCs though. Like, B's chosen to keep all-inning him. So at this stage, what BC's saying is like, okay, if you're going to come again, I'm going to keep building a lead off your overextensions. B is at least now trying to capture sacred sites, but you know, if he was behind this 2TC himself, things wouldn't look so glib. Or at least trading, things wouldn't look so grim. I think trade may have been the play actually for B in this game. It's just so hard to sliver in when you're like losing fights like this. Every time he loses a fight, he has to panic double down. Otherwise, he's worrying that Beastie's going to come to him. Now, we can see Beastie doesn't give a crap. He's vibing on free TC now. But B's paranoia makes sense because he doesn't have the god vision we do. Oh, all's now up. Beastie actually going back into Desert Raiders. Interesting. Into Horseman. I mean, he did glimpse the Horseman move, right? I mean, I'm just wondering why we don't have more Tower of the Sultans. Hear me out, guys. Horseman counts this, but what if I just put spears inside Tower of the Sultan? We've solved it. So Sacred Sites have been captured now for B. 10 minutes is a long time in this type of game, though. And because he's pivoting his attention away to the center of the map, look at what Beastie's starting to do. He's shuffling in. And in fact, he might actually see what's pulling out. Yeah. So he'll make his way to the back of the base, where the tree line's being munched on right now. He completely out of position here. It's only a handful of horsemen, but the other time matters a lot in a game where you're now 20 plus villages behind. Beastie, what does he immediately do? Time to pull the army out. Is Jeanne anywhere near level 4? Probably not. Oh dear God, we've got a long way to go. She's only a third. You need 1,000 XP still. That's a lot. So you need 10,000 resources worth of kills. If I math his army, was there's like, you know, 3,600 worth. Then you've got like... So I think collectively Beastie's armies may be worth about 7k. So if he can wipe the entire army, he'll almost be level 4. And here we go, red pass drop in the center. Can go for the meaningful drop in the enemy base. However, Beastie, because he's moving at the pace of the Tower of the Sultan, does not pursue. I'm such a troll following that units. It's because I haven't seen 5 gifted subs, so I'm going to have to keep following the Tower of the Sultan. You know the rules in this chat, guys. You know the rules. 42 villages. B is in super paranoia mode. Vision's kind of limited. Right now, there could be enemies standing right here, so he takes no chances. Keep complete. Age up complete. Beastie has not started his own tech up here. No, he's now stuck behind. Starting to reach the point in the game where French becomes really threatening with the crossbow stirrups, with the raw bloodlines, the big boy techs. Well, I guess big girl techs in this situation, as it is Jeanne's faction. But you know what the problem with Red Pass is, guys? Wow, did he drop that in the middle of the map? Wait, so what's guarding his base? Well, there is one guy here, an old grandpa with a giant crossbow. He's got a single arbalist placement that's really that threatening. He's buying time for the elite techs. Beastie, army just doesn't really feel that incredible, considering his economy lead right now. But that's because Beastie's gradually been adding in more farms. So at 33 and counting up. So for Beastie, what he just wants to do is try to punish the initial timing. And oh, you gotta be... No, not the one relic. Please, like, I gave you the house, I gave you the dog, I gave you the car. Just let me keep the toaster. No toaster. So relic's gonna be making its way in? Not home, in. And the Tower of the Sultan and the Horsemen are heading for the TC. Or B, he can't wait now. He has to go. He has at least got elite techs coming. He might have to take the fight before they arrive, though. Dervish is just shuffling as far away as possible. It's not even been priorified down, actually. You could shenanigan this? Yeah, he's kind of hiding behind this. No! He's hiding behind it! B, he can't click him right now. He'd have to rotate the camera, so it looks like TC down. And now the fight commitment. Remember, there's a debuff there. The horsemen are doing no damage. It's all on the arbitrator to carry. And it's a carry so hard, it would break their back. Manjanique now just attacking back. Jeanne trying for the snipes, but she's getting dunked herself. He can't even defend his own main. And we still have that AoE heal. Tell me healing is fine. Tell me AoE healing is not crazy. Makes the difference when you're up against mass horsemen and you're debuffing their damage. That adds in an extra 2 free strikes to take out your front line. The difference maker for sure. Now, the economy difference is way too big for a scratch back here. B at this point is just processing the loss. Dominant display by the Beasties. Return to midweek musters. A grand improvement from the last 2 outings. Of course, the first time he ever signed up, that experience against Kraken in the early rounds left a distaste in his mouth. Then I believe it was Anatan, I think it was, who 3-0'd him. And now, Beastie making a firm statement as he makes it into his first grand finals of midweek muster with a 3-0 over one of our most decorated in the weekly circuit. What do you think, guys? Is it going to be his week? Or is Anatan going to break the record for consecutively won midweek musters? Will someone else beat him through? What's your predictions for the finals? Because this game looks done. There is no denying it. Beastie just practically in cruise mode through this entire series. You know what I think we need, guys? I think we need all the others to sign up as well. Beastie looked at like, no, this is good practice. This will keep me warm for the next tournament. I want to see all the big Giga Chads, the M-Laws, the Vortexes, maybe a return to Luciferon. Get them all in here for the midweek musters. And that full stonking format we've been looking for. Because you know what's better than 1 Tower of the Sultan? 3 Tower. Is he even imping? No, he's just not even bothering. Well, 6 series all the same. Definitely an entertaining one between these two. Even when it was a 3-0, I mean, that's what you want. If it's going to be a 3-0, at least make sure the games feel interesting. And I think they've done a good job of entertaining in that regard. I'll see you all in the next chapter. Grand finals just around the corner.